Good evening. Today is November 16th, 2022, and it is exactly 5:01. As a quorum of the committee is in attendance, I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Central Health Executive Committee. Our first order of business is public communication. We will receive public communication for both the Executive Committee and the Board of Managers meetings before we proceed to the Executive Committee meeting. Members of the public who wish to make comments during the public communication portion of the meeting must have registered with Central Health via the online form or by telephone no later than 3:30 p.m. today. Yvonne, did anyone register to make comments for either the Executive Committee meeting or the Board of Managers meeting?
Yes, Mr. Chair, we have one person, but it appears she's not here. I don't see her. It's Manager Valadez, but I don't see her.
Thank you, Yvonne. When Manager Valadez arrives, I will allow her to provide her comment, and but we will continue on with the meeting if there's no one else, right?
There's no one else, Mr. Chair, and she does know the guidelines for public communication.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank
you very much. We appreciate that. We will now proceed to the Executive Committee agenda. Agenda item number 1, approve October 26, 2022 meeting. Do I have a motion?
I move.
Manager Brinson moves that the committee approve the minutes of the Central Health Executive Committee October 26, 2022 meeting. Do I have a second? I have a second from Manager Zuniga. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstaining? Motion carries. Agenda item number 2, review and take appropriate action on the following. 2A, the prioritization and tentative scheduling of items for consideration at future Central Health Board and Committee meetings. And 2B, the proposed calendar year 2023 meeting dates for the Central Health Board of Managers. Bella Cavazos and Brianna Yanis will be presenting.
Okay, I will start by going over the tentative agenda items for December, starting with strategic planning. We have minutes and then a healthcare equity operational implementation and financial sustainability update and possible interactive with the board. For executive committee, I have minutes, tentative schedules, and then interview and recommend appointments to the Community Care Board and Sendero Board of Directors. For the Board of Managers meeting, I have minutes, investments, approve the Sendero and Community Care appointments, October financials, Q4 fiscal and operational updates from CUC and Sendero, which will be an email update only. And then elect a treasurer for the Central Health Board, review reporting matrix for the Dell Medical School, a ham and CHAP update, and tentatively a Birch lawsuit update and a closeout district. And if nobody has any questions, I can move on to the calendar.
Just a quick update. The Community Care Board appointment, we discussed Chair moving that process until early next year. That would be the only change.
Great. Any questions or comments with regard to the agenda for December? Okay. The manager second.
Just out of curiosity, for the Sendero Board of Directors, the interviews, when do you anticipate having those interviews?
Those interviews will be in the executive committee meeting next month.
So at
They
the
will
same
be-
time, you'll interview and recommend that same day?
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
yes, we will interview, and then we will make a recommendation to the full board and ask for approval. Okay? Any further questions? All right, our meeting calendar for 2023.
Okay, in your packet, you have the proposed 2023 meeting calendar. These dates mirror what we did this past year. In the last column, we do have alternate budget dates, which I will let Mike talk about.
Yes, members, just to get this idea out there that there might be a strategic reason for advancing the budget discussions. I realize there's a lot of caveats to that. I still need to circle back around with budget and finance staff on this. And also there's the annual, dilemma of when are we going to get the tax rolls certified. So there's a lot of things that need to fall in place. But again, we can discuss this after the first of the year after I've done some more internal homework. But just wanted to float that notion out there. That's all. Thank you.
Okay. We have a lot to look forward to. Any other questions or comments with regard to the calendar of meetings for 2023? Hearing none, then I would accept a motion to, let's see, where am I? I would accept a motion to recommend to the board to approve the proposed calendar year 2023 meeting dates and the Central Health Board of Managers, for the Central Health Board of Managers as recommended by staff. I have a motion from Manager Zuniga and I have a second from Manager Brinson. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstaining? Motion carries. Agenda item number 3, receive an update on potential candidates to be interviewed by the committee for the governing board of Sendero Health Plans and Community Care Health Centers. Members, as you heard from Berla, we are going to move back the nominations for the Community Care Board. We would like to have a larger number of individuals for the committee to consider. And at this point in time, we didn't receive any outside, I think, nominations for community care. All of the nominations and recommendations were for Sendero. So we will spend a little bit more time recruiting. I also want to remind you of the process that we took to bring the individuals before this committee for an interview. With the help of a couple of board members and Mr. Giesland, we spoke to all 6 individuals that were recommended for appointment. We did this to allow the committee and board members to focus on the individuals that will bring the needed skills to the Sendero board. Our conversations with the individuals resulted in bringing 4 individuals forward. 2 of them are community individuals and 2 of them are Central Health executives. And those individuals will be interviewed at the December 2022 meeting, which is next month. Those individuals are Mr. Gerald McDonald, Miss Molly Hahn, Miss Perla Cavazos, and Mr. Mackenzie Frazier. So I also want to take this time to explain or to at least state publicly issues that are regarding Central Health executive staff and board members on the Sendero board. There's been a misinterpretation of an individual's preference versus a conflict of interest versus an inappropriate span of control regarding Central Health executives and board members being on the Sendero Board of Directors. Here is the explanation of the structure of the Articles of Incorporation that created Sendero Health Plans. Sendero was created and initially funded by Central Health. Central Health is the sole member of the corporation as outlined in the Articles of Incorporation. Thus, Central Health sets the mission and approves the bylaws for the Sendero Health Plan. There is no real or perceived conflict of interest of serving on either the Central Health Board and or the Sendero Board if you are a board member or a Central Health executive. Now, that said, community members, members other than Central Health Board members and Central Health executive staff, may bring a level of expertise to the Sendero Board that's not found in the Central Health executive staff or on the Central Health Board. They also bring an outside perspective to proposed ideas and strategies that may bring new and innovative strategies to the table. However, having Central Health executive staff on the Sendero Board increases both the communication and the collaboration on on Sendero initiatives within the enterprise. For example, having Mr. Jeff Knodel, Central Health CFO, as a Sendero board member expedited his understanding of the CHAP strategy and allowed it to be put in place without delay once it was approved by the Central Health Board. It was also through Jeff's advice that we brought in an outside actuary firm to independently test our risk reduction strategy to ensure success when it was implemented. At present, Sendero has been without a compliance division head for over 8 months. If Mr. Frazier were added to the board, he has the skill set to provide guidance on what's needed in this area and can align appropriate policies with Central Health policies, bringing more enterprise alignment. Ms. Cavazos can also provide guidance to the Sendero CEO if she is placed on the board. And this will allow alignment of communications with our external partners so that they can begin to view us as a functioning enterprise that works together toward a common mission and vision. Having Mr. Frazier or Mrs. Cavazos on both, having Mr. Frazier or Ms. Cavazos or both on the board of Sendero will increase the likelihood that when we develop a strategic plan for Sendero, which we've been without since the 4+ years that I've been on the board, will include input from the enterprise and show alignment with the enterprise. The depth of understanding of the benefits of certain Sendero strategies to our enterprise partners is usually initially lacking for any community members, but over time, this can be clarified and explained by Central Health executives and board members. So I just wanted to read that out for the record and let individuals know that there is no conflict with regard to Central Health board members or Central Health executive staff being on the Sendero board. I read off the 4 candidates above, and their bios are in your packet. And also in your packet in front of you, there's a list of questions for the committee and other board members attending the meeting. You do not have to sort of stick with these questions, but they are questions that can generate discussion. And if you have follow-up questions or additional questions for the members or for the nominees, you're welcome to ask them. I will be distributing these questions to the nominees before they get here. This is not a test. So in essence, we want them to come in prepared to answer the question. Hopefully, it'll make our meeting a little bit more efficient. And finally, before I close this item, I was thinking about the issue of communication between Central Health Board and the Sendero Board. And I would like to suggest to the board that we revise the Sendero Health Plan's bylaws and allow the chair of the Central Health Board and or the CEO of Central Health to be an ex officio non-voting member of the Sendero Board. I think this would enhance the communication between the Sendero Board and Central Health. And I would also suggest increasing the terms of the Sendero Board members from 2 years to possibly 4, and stagger, of course, those years so that we maintain the expertise on the board that's needed. And then set term limits so that they can only be reappointed either one time or twice. This allows the necessary turnover. There have been individuals on the Sendero Board and since 2012 and continue to be on the board. And I think that refreshing that board with new members and new ideas is probably a good thing. So we cannot take any action on that today. That's just a suggestion that I brought up. I would like to hear if there are any concerns with regard to that. If not, we would look to implementing that in 2023. Manager Musaidu.
Thank you, Chair. I do not have any concerns and I support everything that you said. Makes perfect sense. Just have a comment in terms of the last suggestion, the chair, ex officio on the Sendero Board.
The chair of the Central Health Board.
But you are the chair and you're on the board.
Yeah, well, that would sort of correct that off. And
Okay.
I would enter the ex officio role, and then
We just want you to remain on that board, so just.
I'm not leaving the board until the change.
No, on the Sendero Board, because
Yeah.
that's, okay. The other thing that I had, in terms of the community care board candidates, I don't know what we're doing in terms of communication. I have not personally seen anything, any advertisement. So maybe we should do more outreach about the community care board. So that is a recommendation that I have, so we can bring external member candidates. So that's what, thank you.
Thank you, Manager Musaidu. What I found interesting, and I'll get to you. I see you, Manager Jones, so I will get to you. What I found in this group of individuals is that many of them had been affiliated with our Community Champions program. And so I think that if nothing else, we probably have contact information from previous community champions. We might look at reaching out to them and determine if they are interested in board appointments for any of the enterprise. So that could be a nice reservoir of individuals to enter into our board process. Manager Jones?
Yes, thanks very much for allowing me the opportunity to just speak to that. I want to thank you for the soliloquy you just mentioned with regards to the relationship with the executive staff and board members on the Sendero board. I think that's important for the community to understand, not just board members. And I know that all represented here is not community greatly, but I think to the degree we can further emphasize simplistically as possible what you've just said to make or the belief that there is conflict going forth will be very helpful for the community to understand the relationship between Sendero and Central Health. And I think the more we do that and the more we engage in that process, that goes a long ways. So I just want to compliment you on doing that, because hopefully we will continue to go forth in doing that as well.
Thank you, Manager Joe. And probably another thing that we might consider, of course, we don't set the agenda for our workshops with the commissioners, but if they happen to put anything on the agenda with regard to Sendero, we might want to clarify that for them and let them know that there is no conflict and there's actually a great benefit to having those lines of communication strengthened. Thank you. Manager Matwani.
I'd like to echo the previous manager's comments on how astute it is that you're clarifying this and defining it, as well as express my support for your suggestion. I felt recently, especially during budget passage communications period, very confused by a perception of conflict and almost felt a little bit of a void when it came to the sole member's presence on the sole member's executive presence, if you will, on the board of Sendero itself. And I would suggest that, the notion that you're proposing is obvious, but for the fact that that belies the nuance and thought that you've put into it and how you're sharing it with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Manager Matwani. Any other comments? All right, hearing none.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
if I may, just to follow up, we have done some general outreach to our contact databases regarding the availability or the opportunity for the board appointments. I would ask, there is some more targeted recruiting that we need to do to reach out to individuals, to compel them, to take a look at this. But we want to be equitable about that. And
Sure.
that means reaching out to a number of people, not just one or two, but several. But I would ask each of you to do the same. Manager Matwani, you had forwarded some names, and I believe some others may have done that, of some very
Manager
exceptional.
Valdez.
Manager Valdez had
Right.
forwarded names. So, please go through your Rolodex, if I could date myself and use the phrase Rolodex, and, see who it is. And I think these questions right here really give you a good framework to when you're thinking about individuals that you could approach. But again, if you'll just get those names to myself and Farrell and Brianna, we'll take it from there. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Houston. Manager Musante.
Just to follow up, I do appreciate the outreach in the emails, but what I've noticed, it's embedded into that long email, maybe just dedicating one email about call for appointments. I think maybe that will be helpful, will attract more attention of others rather than scrolling down. Because personally, when there's a busy email with a lot of information, I just skim through it. Don't pay a lot of attention. So thank you.
All right. Any other comments? All right. Thank you very much. Agenda item number 4, confirm the next regular executive committee meeting, date, time, and location. Managers, our next Central Health Executive Committee meeting is tentatively scheduled for Wednesday, December 14th, 2022 at 5 p.m. at Central Health Administrative Offices, 1111 East Cesar Chavez Street, Austin, Texas, 78702. At this time, I recognize Manager Zuniga for a motion for adjournment and Manager Brinson for a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstaining? We are adjourned. Okay, managers, I would like to go right into the Central Health Board of Managers meeting. Again, today is November the 16th, 2022, and it is now 5:25 p.m. As a quorum of the board is in attendance, I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Central Health Board of Managers. The first item of business will be the consent agenda. The consent agenda consists of C1, approve the minutes of the Central Health Board of Managers, October 26, 2022, regular and special called meetings. C2, receive and ratify Central Health investments for October 2022. And C3, approve the proposed calendar year 2023 meeting dates for the Central Health Board of Managers as recommended by the Executive Committee. Do I have a motion? Manager Brinson?
I move that the Board of Managers approve the consent agenda items C1 through C3.
And Manager Matwani?
I second.
I have a motion from Manager Brinson and a second from Manager Matwani. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstaining? Motion carries. We will now proceed to the regular agenda. At this time, I will entertain a motion to limit debate for all items on the agenda to 3 minutes per member per item. Do I have a motion? Manager Brinson?
I move that the Board of Managers limit debate on all items on the agenda to 3 minutes per member per item.
And Manager Musaitis? I have a motion from Manager Brinson. I have a second from Manager Musaitis. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstaining? Motion carries. Agenda item number 1. Discuss and take appropriate action on resolutions honoring Sherry Greenberg and Julie Zuniga for their service on the Central Health Board. And I will take Julie Zuniga's resolution first until Manager Greenberg returns. Well, Julie, I just want to say that I know I've probably murdered your last name many, many times. For some reason, the U and the I just can't get it straight from a Spanish phonetically perspective, but I would like to read your resolution. A resolution expressing appreciation to Julie Zuniga, PhD, RN, FAAN, for her service on the Board of Managers of Central Health. Whereas Dr. Zuniga has served as the Central Health Board member since April 2019 and as treasurer from January 2020 to December 2022, and whereas Dr. Zuniga received a BA from Austin College in Sherman, Texas, and whereas Dr. Zuniga received her MSN and PhD from the University of Texas at Austin School of Nursing, while she also worked in the infectious disease / internal medicine unit at the county hospital, and whereas Dr. Zuniga completed her postdoctoral fellowship from Emory in Atlanta, Georgia, and whereas Dr. Zuniga was inducted into the Fellow of American Academy of Nursing in 2019, and whereas Dr. Zuniga was awarded the Early Science Investigatory, tough word, award from the Southern Nursing Research Society in 2018, and the Young Researcher Award from the American Public Health Association, Public Health Nursing Section. And whereas Dr. Zuniga's area of research is self-management of people with multiple morbidities and with emphasis on people living with dual diagnosis of HIV and diabetes. And whereas Dr. Zuniga's work is widely disseminated with over 33 published manuscripts in peer-reviewed nursing and multidisciplinary journals. And whereas Dr. Zuniga has brought her wealth of healthcare knowledge and skills to the Central Health Board of Managers to aid in increasing access to care for underserved residents of Travis County, now therefore be it resolved by Central Health that the board expresses its sincere appreciation and gratitude to Dr. Zuniga for her dedicated service to Central Health Board of Managers since April 2019, and be it further resolved that the Secretary of the Board prepare a copy of this resolution for presentation to Dr. Zuniga.
Under with the plaque and maybe the flowers.
I'll take the plaque and you can hold the flowers.
Yes. I was hoping so.
Well, that would be great.
I want to kick this one first, and then I'll grab everyone else.
All right.
Me too. Okay, so everyone else, please join us.
Sorry, Shannon.
Yeah, I should grab yours right. Sure, you can.
Oh, so yeah.
Yeah, look, we could just get that.
It's yours.
That's
Ready.
Yeah, I think that's kind of odd. Why don't you do hers and then mine?
Well, we are going to do
Yeah.
Right, but why?
that. She didn't want to take one. She was trying to.
But then we should get the flowers.
Yeah. Give me
Yeah.
this.
Right.
Yeah.
There you
We
go.
could
Yeah,
squeeze it.
yeah, okay, yeah.
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
All right.
Now, do you want one with me? With you?
Yes. That'd be great. All right. Somebody with reading good eyes.
Yes.
I'll come this way.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And Sherry, thank goodness your name is simple, so I don't have to murder it like I do Dr. Zuniga's. But I would like to read our resolution expressing appreciation to Sherry R. Greenberg, MS, for her service on the Board of Managers of Central Health. Whereas Ms. Greenberg has served as Central Health Board member since February 2015, as the vice chair from January 2018 through December 2019, and as the board chair from January 2020 to December of 2021. And whereas Ms. Greenberg received her BA from the University of Texas at Austin, and whereas Ms. Greenberg received her MS in Public Administration and Policy from the London School of Economics, and whereas Ms. Greenberg served as manager of capital finance for the city of Austin from 1985 to 1989, overseeing the city's debt management, capital budgeting, and capital improvement program as a public finance professional. And whereas Ms. Greenberg served for 10 years as a member of the Texas House of Representatives, including service as chair of key legislative committees, completing her term in January of 2001. Whereas Ms. Greenberg is a professor of practice and a fellow of the Max Sherman Chair in State and Local Government at the LBJ School of Public Affairs, and a graduate student advisor for the LBJ School Masters of Public Affairs program. And whereas Ms. Greenberg serves as a research director of Future of Work for Good Systems, a University of Texas Grand Challenge. And whereas Ms. Greenberg volunteers her time and talents to many efforts that improve the quality of life for underserved communities, including service on the City of Austin Housing Investment Review Committee, Austin Smart City Alliance Board of Directors, the Austin Forum on Technology and Society Advisory Board, and the UT Opportunity Forum Steering Committee. And whereas Ms. Greenberg brought numerous talents, skills, scholarship, and leadership from a prestigious career in public service and higher education to her role as a board of manager of Central Health. And whereas Ms. Greenberg has shown admirable dedication to her role as board manager of Central Health, where she helped increase access to care for the underserved residents of Travis County, now therefore be it resolved by Central Health that the board expresses its sincere appreciation and gratitude to Ms. Greenberg for her dedicated service to the Central Health Board of Managers since February of 2015, and be it further resolved that the Secretary of the Board prepare a copy of this resolution for presentation to Ms. Greenberg.
This recognition is not for me, it is for the dedication of the residents of Travis County, the colleagues on the board, and the staff. It has been my honor and my privilege to serve. And I will continue to do all that I can for equitable access to high quality of care for all the residents of Travis County. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Did you have any comments you'd like to make? No. All right. I would like to entertain a motion to approve those resolutions. Manager Musaiti? Sure.
Well, first of all, it's been a pleasure working with you. Sherry, I really enjoyed it. Thank you for your leadership, for your commitment and dedication, for being a great mentor and a great servant for this community. You will be dearly missed. I will cherish you for as long as I, live, and I've learned a lot from you. Thank you so much. And Julie, thank you for your service and for everything that you have brought to the table. Really appreciate you. Thank you.
Any other comments before I accept the motion to approve?
There.
Oh, Manager Jones, I'm sorry.
Unfortunately, I'm not there tonight, but I would like to both thank Sherry and Julie for the leadership, for the support, for the mentoring that they provided me in the almost 5 years I've been on the board. And so the city and the county and the district has really been blessed by you all's involvement and your support. So I want to acknowledge that on behalf of the community and myself with you all's leaving this board. You've made a great contribution. You'll make a great difference from years to come. So thanks again for your service.
Thank you, Manager Jones.
Thank you.
Any further comments? Okay, I'd like to recognize Manager Brinson.
I move the board approve the resolutions just read honoring Sherry Greenberg and Julie Zuniga for their service on the Central Health Board.
Manager Musaiti? I have a motion by Manager Brinson and I have a second by Manager Musaiti. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. very, very much. It's been a joy working with both of you, and we
Thank
will
you.
miss you. Okay, Manager Valadez has joined us, and she had signed up for communication, public communication. So I will allow her at this point in time. She is well aware of the rules of public communication. So I will recognize her at this point.
Yes, sir. Thank you, and thank you, Sherry and Julie, for your service. On Friday, 11/11/22, I asked Chair Bell to forward my written evaluation of CEO Mike Giesland to CH staff, as they apparently were having problems receiving my original email that I sent at 12:04 a.m. on 10/26/22. I arrived at the meeting that we had that day to talk about the evaluation. And during that meeting, it was apparent, and Brianna stated that she had not received my email. So I asked Dr. Bell if I could please read into the record my comments. He said I could. So I read them as written without anything else. I did state that my email documented the time and the date of the emails that I had sent to staff, both to Brianna and then to Jeannie as a HR person, and then ultimately to Dr. Bell and Cynthia Brinson, because no one else had received anything from my particular email address. However, it wasn't until, and remember, we had a meeting on the 9th. So during or after the meeting, I was not told that they still had not received my emails. So what I did is, and remember, I'm going back and forth to the hospital, so I'm not even paying attention to anything else other than my daughter. I did hear a message from Pedla on that Friday that they still had not received my emails. I called Dr. Bell at about 1 o'clock in the afternoon because Dr. Bell, I had finally forwarded it to him and to Dr. Brinson, hoping that they would be able to forward my emails, my written email, to CH staff to be included in the tally. Very quickly, Dr. Bell was upset with me because I had not met 2 deadlines. And the first one was the original turning it in. However, I was here for that meeting, and I did ask that my comments be written into the record. That was word for word. I did not know that there was another deadline that had allegedly been imposed upon me for 12 noon, the day that we had our meeting on November the 9th. Not one person from Central Health called me to leave me a message stating that. No one did. I have my phone. They can look on their phones or however they called and see if that notice was sent to me. So not knowing that, I called him thinking he could just forward the emails on the email that I had documenting what I had written and what I had stated. We got into a conversation, a discussion. I didn't agree with what he said. He did not state what actually happened, but yet told me that it was my fault that the emails did not get accepted by staff, and that I should have done more to make sure that they were included. And I said, Dr. Bell, I didn't know that they didn't receive the emails. And as you can see, the emails clearly document the dates and the times that they were sent. I later found out in an email from Pedla, I think, that they had found my email in spam. From the very beginning, I said, please look in your spam and your trash accounts to see if it's there. I was told that they had, but coincidentally, it appeared magically in their email. Dr. Bell said, based on all of this, he would not include my tally nor my comments in the evaluation of our CEO. I don't think that's fair. I think that the decision is arbitrary. I believe that to not allow any member of this board duly appointed by the city council and the county commissioners is to deny us our fiduciary responsibility to oversee how Central Health is managed and to make sure that there are no issues that would impede the monies, how we spend them on our targeted population. I still believe that 100%. It wasn't until later when I included David Duncan in this email. David Duncan responded to me that, oh, Cynthia, because I asked to listen to the tape. David Duncan responded to me that no, in fact, we are no longer recording our executive sessions. And that was a decision that he and Dr. Bell made. Then stating that David said it would be simpler for him to just say,
3 minutes.
I just would like to finish this. I think it's very important here. It would be simpler to just make a certified agenda as opposed to recording our original discussions. I asked, was that decision made? He said it had been made 3 months ago. I said, was that made during, before, or after the conversations that we were having regarding difficult and important issues that we needed to make a decision about, or whether or not it was about during the time of our discussion on the budget and the forensic performance audit that I personally have always been in favor of. Because I figure if we're doing it right, we're doing it right. If we're making mistakes, well, we can correct them and move forward, okay? In addition, I just want to say that I think that our opinions, whether we agree to them or not, are equally important as individual board members. And I do not think that it is fair to have one board member's voice silenced because I may or may not let them know that I'm going to go speak before the Commissioners Court, or I may or may not let them know what I'm going to say, or I may or may not let them know that these are my concerns. I speak in our board meetings, as you all well know. I state exactly what I think and believe, and I state it from my heart, not for any other reason. Anybody who knows me in this listening audience or between you, all of you, know that I'm not the kind of person who goes out and seeks something. I'm not applying for political office or anything like that. I just feel that my ability to state my opinions, to have my voice heard, and to have my tallies counted is a constitutional right. And to deny me that is to deny my right to speak, to have an opinion, and for my voice to be heard. I do not accept that my vote will not be counted. And I think to do so is to inflict upon me a severe diminishment of what you believe my status is. I'll be a second-rate board member who can be punished for perceived failure to comply by whatever rules may be set up that I am not aware of. And so I'm just stating that because Dr. Bell did tell me his decision was final. And I'm telling you as a board and as the public that I do not believe that any board member should ever be told that their opinion doesn't count and that their voice will not be heard. Thank you.
Thank you, Manager Valadez. I just want to say that there are always two sides to every story. I attempted to deal with Manager Valadez on a confidential basis and not on a public basis. I actually documented the reasonings for my decision, and I outlined for Manager Valadez what her responsibilities were at the time. I will provide the board, since Manager Valadez has decided to make this a public issue, I will provide the board with the email that I sent to her and allow you to have that information. I do believe that there were many misstatements in her comments that she's had. And we have an agenda item at the end of this meeting that outlines the CEO's evaluation. And you can see for yourself whether managers Valadez's comments were included or not? Thank you.
I would just like for, sir, if you're,
I did not recognize
are you gonna yell at me again like you did on the phone?
I am going to yell
Okay.
at you because you are out of order.
Then I'm going to say that if you're going to do that, then you need to send a copy of the emails that I sent to the staff and to you. That's all I'm saying.
I would appreciate it if you would allow yourself to be recognized as opposed to just blurting out. Manager Valadez.
Thank you, sir. I apologize for blurting out because I didn't know whether I was going to be able to speak. So I apologize for that to you and to everyone else. But I do believe that if you were going to hold me accountable for something that I did not know was not received, and if you're going to blame me for not answering phone calls from staff that I do not have on my phone, or messages that were never left on my phone, and I want you all, unfortunately, to understand that over there at the hospital at Encompass Rehabilitation Hospital in Round Rock, where I am until next week with my daughter, their Wi-Fi doesn't work, their phones don't work, and if you want to make a call, you have to go to another part of the town in order to make it. I did not know that until today. And so, but I do know that I didn't receive anything. There may be a technical reason for that. Just like staff calling me and leaving messages disappeared from my phone. I don't know. However, I do know this, that Bella did admit to me in an email that she found my response in the spam box of their computer. And I know that I sent them when I said I was going to send them. So that's it. And if I was not made aware of the Wednesday, November 9th, 12 noon deadline, because that was when you met with Jeannie of HR, and you all decided that my comments would not be included, no one told me that that was a deadline. I was never told that by you or by anyone else. So
Thank you, Manager Valadez.
thank you.
Agenda item number 2, discuss the nomination process for the position of treasurer to fill the unexpired term, which begins January 1st, 2022, and will end December 31st, 2023. Managers, as you know, Dr. Zuniga will not be on the board as a treasurer or as a member as of December the 31st. And we will need to elect another treasurer. I would like to let the managers know that anyone that is interested in this position should submit their names or the name of a manager you have spoken with who is interested in the office. And this should be done by 1 week prior to the December meeting. If only one individual is nominated, the board can approve the appointment by acclamation or by majority vote. If 2 individuals are nominated, we will deliberate these individuals in the December Executive Committee meeting. If the will of the committee is that one nominee not be selected, we will have an open ballot vote in the December Board of Managers meeting, and the individual with the most votes will be appointed as treasurer. Any questions? Okay, thank you very much. And agenda item number, 4, or 3, I'm sorry. I'm not going to go out of order, Lisa, I promise. Agenda item number 3, receive an update on the development of a hub program at Central Health. Then Lisa Owens and Belina Bunch will be presenting.
Good evening, Board of Managers. I'm Belina Bunch, the Director of Procurement for Central Health, and I'm excited to lay out our historical underutilized business implementation plan. As you know, in 2022, we received our first disparity study, which was conducted by Colette Holt and Associates. We get the disparity ratio by taking the minority and woman business enterprise utilization, and we divide it by the availability, which for Central Health, the availability resides in Travis and Williamson counties. After doing that, the results showed that one race, Native Americans, was found to represent a substantial disparity with a ratio that was less than or equal to 80%. Next slide, please. Upon the completion of the study, Colette Holt made the following recommendations: that we implement race and gender neutral measures, that we adopt a minority and women business-owned enterprise program, that we develop standards, and that we establish a program sunset date. Next slide. So our objective is to develop a formal HUB program with narrowly tailored program eligibility standards, and to contract specific subcontracting goals and continue good faith effort for all other procurement activities. Our current practice right now is to implement a good faith effort. And this effort is encouraged in every solicitation that we do. It includes outreach specific to each solicitation to raise awareness. It includes annual reporting of HUB expenditures and participation. It includes participation in HUB fairs, expos, and we partner with other agencies so that we can capitalize on best practices and increase participation. Under our Good Faith Effort program, last year, Central Health recognized 16.8% of eligible expenses, and they were spent on HUB vendors. And I'll turn it over to Lisa.
Thank you, Lisa Owens, Deputy CFO. Thank you, Belina. So we will continue to implement our good faith effort across the board, as Belina detailed on the last slide. But what will change? We propose that we begin to set our narrowly tailored contract-specific goals as recommended by Colette Holt and Associates. And we begin this in the construction area for contracts greater than $500,000. We have several opportunities that are upcoming in the months and year to implement this on a contract-specific basis. We're going to use this opportunity to develop and refine the necessary procedures, manuals, training, internal and external programs. And furthermore, we'll continue to work with Travis County very closely, as well as the City of Austin, to ensure that the vendors have consistency throughout the community and that the programs are aligned. The next slide. So a few activities that we foresee happening in the next year. Updating our policies, both the procurement policy and we have a specific HUB policy will need to be updated. Onboarding program staff, and again, as I mentioned, that staff will help lead the effort to develop the necessary manuals, trainings, both internal and external, and the necessary tools and documents to then manage and collect the data for the HUB subcontracting plans in the chosen contracts. And then last slide. I also just want to highlight outreach and awareness. Over the past couple of years, we have been updating you on our expanded outreach and efforts to communicate more. We've been working closely with our communications team. It's been very successful. And we will continue to do that and find new ways, as you always give input as well. We appreciate that, to expand this as it has over the past several years. But specific to the narrowly tailored contract-specific goals, we will enhance our prime and subcontractor activities around those specific solicitations and when the awards are made. We also want to ensure that we're creating accessible training, so we're working again with our communications team to develop online tools and make those available, or work with the city and the county to ensure that we're using a lot of the tools that they have. For example, we won't have a certification program, but the city does. So directing our vendors to how that works and being aligned with the city and other certification programs. And then finally, just ensuring that the staff and the board of Central Health is trained so they can understand the program and how they will participate in it if they are a contract owner, and be knowledgeable about our policies and procedure changes. So next slide. So what's next? We are working on the HUB policy and procurement updates. to be presented to the board in December. And then we will be onboarding our new inaugural hub analyst. They start in December. We are very excited. Their experience and qualifications will be a tremendous asset to our team, and we look forward to introducing you. This work is ongoing, but we wanted to provide this update tonight. And with that, I would just open it to questions or any feedback.
Thank you so much, Lisa and Galena. Appreciate that. Any questions from our board members? Manager Jones?
Yeah, just one question. Thanks very much for the update. In terms of looking for hub vendors, are we looking, we're not restricted just to the geographical area of Central Texas, are we?
We're not. So we have, in our good faith effort, we have a list that we've comprised of all of the chambers throughout the state of Texas. And so we have chambers from Dallas, from Houston, from San Antonio, El Paso, all of the minority chambers and the trade organizations as well. And so it's not just Central Texas, we've expanded it.
Okay, and then the second question was that I think this weekend or just recently, there was the African American Tech Conference that was hosted here in Austin. And so, and these are folks from throughout the country. Are we looking at reaching out to those types of industries for some of our tech needs, particularly, even though they're not within the state of Texas?
Well, I would say that's a great opportunity and good feedback. We will consider that. We don't have a geographical requirement sometimes with our contracting. So I think we've talked about that before in the past when we expanded to raising awareness throughout the state. But that's an excellent resource, Manager Jones, and we will follow up with that.
But if I may, Manager Jones, I'm going to kind of throw a question at the team here. If an out-of-state firm is registered in BidSync for business opportunities in Texas, they'll still get notice of that.
Sure.
It's not as personal as going to a convention and meeting one-on-one, but there's still an opportunity to get that info.
It is. And we get asked often if we are only going to, accept firms within the immediate Austin area. And the answer is no. If they have a presence, if they can do the job, then we welcome them.
Well, particularly with the growth of populations of color, particularly African Americans and others, into the Central Texas region, I think these conferences, these meetings are going to be more prevalent. So to the degree that you can work either with the chambers or others to find out about them in advance, and then encourage them to, when visiting Austin or participating, find out about opportunities. I think that goes a long ways to getting that message out as well. So thanks very much. Appreciate it.
Thanks for your feedback. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Manager Jones. Manager Valadez?
Do you all post anything on our website for Center Health?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. And so I'm going to bring up a concern that I have brought up historically since I've been on this board. With respect to the MBE and WBEs in the women's area, how are those disaggregated according to race or ethnicity? In other words, women and then men, black, brown, whatever. What about the women? Going back to the women, how are we understanding that female women of color are doubly discriminated against? And so how are we going to overcome that barrier?
Manager Valdez, I can say that as I've been here and I'm learning a whole bunch of things, what I can do is I can encourage. I can encourage women in business to, when they register, when they get their certification as a hub, it is really up to them in how they register. And if I can give you an example, being a woman in business myself, for me, if I register as a hub, honestly, in Texas right now, in Austin, I probably would register just as a woman business enterprise and not as a Black woman, because I get more opportunities. I can get my foot in the door. When people see, recognize a woman on paper and not just a Black woman, when some will see a Black woman in business and kind of turn it away and not even recognize the expertise I have in my area. But I can teach as we become or get antiquated or develop those relationships with other vendors. And when they're women owned, just like I try to do with anybody who's a minority and not even a hub, and try to encourage them to become a hub vendor, because there's so many opportunities out there. You know, if you're a hub vendor, you get so many opportunities. So that's what I can offer, and that's what I have begun to offer as I begin to, develop relationships with vendors. Women in business, if you don't register as a Black woman, as an Asian woman, as a Hispanic woman, then I can encourage that. But also on the other end, I kind of know what the end results sometimes can be.
Is it possible to do both? Say you're Black and a woman. Is there a space for that? Or is that even a consideration?
No, I think there may be a space for it. It's just that we just need to look for it, Like I can say probably, like Lisa mentioned earlier about us not being a certification agency, but the city is. So the city may have the opportunity for me to register as a woman-owned business. And if I want to register in the state and have a wider footprint, I might want to register in the state as a Black woman in business.
Right.
So I think those opportunities are there. It's just up to those women to want to pursue them.
I think that as we educate the entities that we work with and let them know that what we're trying to do is overcome the barriers that have been set up, and not by us, that this is a further way to incorporate a best practice.
Yes, ma'am.
And also, did I understand you to say that we're doing that with the contractors and the subcontractors of those that apply for the contracts?
So subcontractors, what our plan to do is that we want to partner with some of the state agencies, and we've learned that some of the state agencies are doing a session that's called Meet the Prime. And so as we get those prime contractors on, we can feature them and talk about the opportunities that are available underneath that prime contractor, and try to draw some of or a lot of subcontractors hubs. But when the hubs attend our pre-proposal conferences, then what we do is we create a list, and the list is consistent of prime contractors and subs, and we let them know that we want that a marriage opportunity there, and we post it on BidSync with every solicitation that these people are available, that they're looking for an opportunity. When we get emails from them, when they see that we have solicitations on our website, we send them out so that everybody knows, hey, here's a red flag. We want you to marry with them.
I appreciate that, because that's always historically, like with the city and the county, that has historically been a problem. So for many years, the subcontractors were never recognized or able to compete in the prime contracting component, because they were not their addition by the prime contractor. It's an Anglo-owned business. We're going to subcontract with somebody that's a minority so that we can get it in there. And yet, no, the big prime contractors rarely extend the subcontractors the opportunity to apply as primes. And so I just want to make sure that we create a path for them to be able to access that. And I welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any further questions or comments? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Agenda item number 4 is to discuss and take appropriate action on fiscal year 2023 budget for the Sendero Health Plan Incorporated. I don't know.
We may need to
Wesley's
take
here.
just a few minutes to, I don't know that he's here yet,
Okay,
but says he's on his way, so
okay.
we'll check on his ETA.
Manager Valado?
Yes, I apologize for getting here late, but I was stuck in traffic. It's awful for coming in from Round Rock. Did we take any action on the calendar?
Yes, we did.
Is it possible for me to suggest an item to be included in the agenda?
What agenda?
A future agenda?
A future agenda?
Yes, not necessarily today, but at least for a vote at next month's meeting.
Yeah, you can talk to me after the meeting.
May I ask one more clarifying question?
Yes,
We are going to go into executive session.
we will be going into executive session.
May I ask that executive session be recorded?
Yes, you can ask.
Will it be?
No,
Have we as a board voted on that?
it's not a board policy. It's a law.
No, it's an option.
That's right. It's an
But our
option in the law.
practice in Central Health was always to record our executive session meetings until 3 months ago.
No.
You don't think so? What? It was always recorded.
It was.
I used to listen to tapes.
Julie, it was recorded. I had a discussion with David, and David said that there was an option to certify it, where we give a summary of what we talk about, and then the chair certifies that summary as opposed to recording the tape. That is valid under the law. My question to David was, how many people have requested, since he's been our administrative lawyer, to hear the tape or review the tape? He said none. And so based on the fact that nobody was listening to these tapes, it made sense that we could take the other option and just record the summary, certify it, keep it in an envelope, and then move forward from there. Now, Manager Valadez does not agree with that, and she feels that it should have been deliberated by the board to make that decision, because in her mind, if something has been done previously before it can be changed, then it should come before either the executive committee or the board. So that's what her argument is about. Manager Valadez.
Point of order, Chair. Are we posted for discussion on this, or?
No, we're not.
I thought we were killing time.
Thank you.
No, we're not killing time.
Wes says he's 2 blocks away, so he should be.
2 blocks?
Yes.
Yeah. We can go into recess.
Oh, thank you, and I want to also give you this. Hey, Wes.
Okay, thank you, Mike.
Okay. Thank you.
How you doing? I lost my too. Yes. Do I have a quorum? Members, we've come back from recess. Agenda item number 4, discuss and take appropriate action on the fiscal year 2023 budget for Sendero Health Plans Incorporated. Wes Durkowski will be presenting.
Hello, managers. Thank you for your time this evening. We can hopefully be brief. In your packet, there should be 3 slides, 2 of which, last 2 are just informational. And those have supporting information on our quality improvement successes, our quality star ranking success, and has some details showing both our progress both year over year and versus competitors, supporting our position as the only 4-star plan in Texas. The first slide is just a summary on the budget. It's one displayed right there. If you recall, last time we walked through the draft budget. The key things are that it assumed moderate increases in CHAP membership, and those discussions are ongoing. Currently, we have about 750. We were conservatively budgeting for at least 800, but as discussed, happy to take on many more for as many as can be found. No surplus capital contributions requested. There are some risk adjustment financing discussions. As you may recall, for this program, it generates a significant risk adjustment receivable. We have a third-party commercial deal in place to finance that, so it may make sense for Central Health to help us find other ways to do that internally. And this budget projects slightly better than break-even results for next year. Since that meeting, we met successfully with the Sendero board, got their approval to bring the budget back to you for a final approval with no material changes. And the only discussion was maybe next year we'll try and have this done earlier in the year. That was it. So with that, I would probably stop and say any questions or open it up.
Manager Valdez.
Thank you, Wes, for that report. So can you repeat again what it is that you said about the CHAP extension?
So this year we have 750 people, and just as a conservative projection for next year, we're hoping we can get at least 800 in that program.
Okay, so I know that there had been considerable interest and expanding the CHAP program to include more seriously ill patients, hopefully during this budget. And I want to know whether or not it's possible for that to be done with the support of HAM, if at all possible, as an outreach entity or any other entity that could be viewed as an outreach entity, so that we could increase the CHAP membership. I know that I think Medicare the deadline ends on December 15th. But if someone is changing their status from MAP to, which is from basically no ACA insurance, to CHAP, which would be under Sendero, which is ACA approved insurance company, then that would be a change in status, and that change would be allowed. There wouldn't be a limitation or a deadline on that. Is that not true?
I believe so.
As an old enroller.
The deadline would be January 15th.
Okay, so we would have up until January 15th. And even if it was a change in status?
Change in status that sometimes triggers
Changing
other.
Situation?
Yeah,
From
change
no
situation triggers
insurance?
other rules, but for 90% of these people,
right?
For the bulk,
So,
it would come through the normal enrollment.
Do you think that is something that we could do to expand the numbers from 750 with the support of Central Health Board?
I think we said, that's a.
Before you answer, could you clarify for Manager Valadez the difference between a subsidy program by which we subsidize individuals and then the movement of MAP to CHAP? We had this discussion last meeting, but
Happy to go over that again. So at the high level, remember there's two buckets of premium subsidies. One for people who are eligible for CMS subsidies for premium, called APTC. And that program, I think Central Health generally refers to as the Premium Assistance Program, and that covers HAM and SIMS and just a few of the MAP members who are eligible. And those are on exchange, covered in our silver plan. Central Health pays and brings down another $4, I think, for every dollar invested. For those people who are below 100% or in the Medicaid gap and not eligible for CMS premium subsidies, the program is the CHAP Expansion High Risk Pool Program. So enrollment for that is managed through it's Central Health's program, but managed from the MAP pool. And they go through there, find the people eligible and switch them every year.
And
so does that.
What's the specifics of finding people eligible and moving them to CHAP?
So I think there may be somebody in this room who's better, but I think every year Central Health goes through its data warehouse and finds anybody who is currently enrolled on MAP who presented with certain conditions. So an average risk score higher on the scale. They find thousands, each year of those. And then that is the pool that CHAP is selected from. And then outreach reaches out to those members, talks them through, and Sendero gets our, 750 members from that.
And so there's certain select members that get to move from MAP to CHAP. Is that
correct? It's not all the MAP members, and
right.
It's just based on these very limited. This is a high risk pool, so it's less than 1 out of every 20 or whatever you want to say. It's definitely a search, like you just can't sign up everybody.
So then, if we wanted to, just as a Central Health entity, wanted to expand the numbers in both programs, what we need to do is enroll more people in MAP or MAP Basic, so that they would ultimately, maybe in the coming year, be considered as a pool, an expanded pool from which to pull people to change their status from MAP or MAP Basic to CHAP if possible under that one program. And then on the other program, if there is an opportunity for SIMS and MAP, on HAM rather, to be allotted additional slots so that they could do that outreach and search in their communities for consideration. Is that something that's possible?
I would think, but I have to defer, like, those aren't, the Ham Sims conversations, it
That's a
doesn't
central health issue.
come through us, so they're central health projects at this point. So, of course, we're happy to cover more if they become available.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much, sir.
Any further questions for Mr. Durkowski? Mr. Geisling, were you about to say something or no?
No, not at this time.
Okay, thank you. All right, thank you very much. Appreciate it, Wes. Were you finished or?
This is a good point. I think this is an action item, right? Yeah, because we, I've Doris not listed as an action.
Yeah, I thought it was listed as an action item.
Sorry, annual they.
Manager Valdez,
Okay, so this is item number 4.
it's item number 4.
Okay, it says action item. So do I need to make a motion that we adopt the Sendero budget for fiscal year 23? And if so, I make a motion to that effect.
I have a motion from Manager Valadez to move to approve the Sendero Health Plan budget for 2023. I have a second from Manager Brinson. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? Motion passes. Thank you very much, Wes.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Okay, managers, we are now at the point that we are going to go into closed session. Agenda item number 5, discuss Central Health owned or occupied real property and potential property for acquisition, lease, or development in Travis County, including next steps in the redevelopment of Central Health downtown campus, administrative offices of Central Health and enterprise partners, and new developments in eastern Travis County. Deliberate and take action on possible delegation to the president and CEO to purchase property. Agenda item number 6, receive and discuss updates on the 1115 Medicaid waiver, delivery system reform incentive payment, DSRIP program, and associated projects, the Community Care Collaborative, and other healthcare delivery partners, programs, projects, and arrangements, including agreements with Ascension, Texas, and the University of Texas at Austin. We will not take up agenda item number 7, receiving and discuss a briefing regarding Birch et al. V. Travis County Healthcare District, DBA Central Health and Mike Giesland, cause number D1GN 17005824 in the 345th District Court of Travis County. We will take up agenda item number 8, discuss and take appropriate action on the annual performance evaluation for the Central Health President and CEO for the period of June 2021 through October 2022. I now announce that the board is convening in closed session to discuss agenda item 5 under Texas Government Code Section 551.071, consultation with attorney, and Texas Government Code Section 551.072, deliberation regarding real property. Agenda items 6 and 7 are actually just agenda item 6 because we will not be taking up agenda item 7 under the Texas Government Code Section 551.071, consultation with attorney, and agenda item 8 under Texas Government Code Section 551.072, 5.071, consultation with attorney, and Texas Government Code, Section 551.074, personnel matters. you. We are out of closed session. It is November the 16th at 8:38 p.m. We discussed agenda item number 5, and I am ready to accept a motion. I recognize Dr. Brinson.
I move that the board delegate authority to the Central Health President and CEO to negotiate an agreement and take all other actions necessary and proper to purchase property as discussed in closed session at an amount to not exceed fair market value.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? Manager Musaitif? I have a motion from Manager Brinson and a second from Manager Musaitif. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstaining?
Abstention.
Please show Manager Valadez as abstaining. There was no motion necessary on agenda item number 6. We did not take up agenda item number 7. There is a motion needed on agenda item number 8. Manager Musaitif.
I move that the board adopt an annual performance evaluation of the president and CEO.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? Manager Brinson. So I have a motion from Manager Musaitif. I have a second from Manager Brinson. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining?
Abstain.
Please show Manager Valadez abstaining. Agenda item 9, confirm the next regular board meeting time and location. Managers, our next Central Health Board of Managers meeting is tentatively scheduled for next Wednesday, December 14th, 2022 at 5 p.m. at Central Health Administrative Offices, 1111 East Cesar Chavez Street, Austin, Texas, 78702. At this time, I recognize Manager Greenberg for her last
That's right.
motion for adjournment.
Here it is. I move adjournment. Second.
I have a motion from Manager Greenberg. I have a second from Manager Valadez. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you, members. I appreciate it.